Have you ever wondered how ghost everyone can lead to inner peace and clarity? In a world full of distractions, taking time to step away from external demands and relationships can be a powerful way to reconnect with yourself. By intentionally retreating into solitude, you free yourself from the constant noise and expectations of others, allowing space for self-reflection and growth. This practice doesn't mean isolating yourself permanently, but rather creating boundaries that nurture your mental well-being, helping you build resilience, focus, and a deeper connection with your true self. Finding inner peace begins with an intentional decision to turn inward, away from the distractions and chaos of the external world. It is not an overnight achievement, but a lifelong journey that requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to embrace solitude. In a world filled with noise, constant interactions, and endless demands, true tranquility is often overlooked, yet it remains one of the most essential elements of a fulfilled and harmonious life. It is not about seeking isolation for the sake of being alone, but rather about carving out moments of silence where one can truly listen to the whispers of their own soul. Imagine waking up in the morning with a mind unburdened by stress, free from the weight of expectations and obligations. There's a profound sense of calm in knowing that peace does not have to be pursued externally, but rather cultivated from within. One way to nurture this state of being is by developing a habit of self-reflection. Through introspection, individuals gain clarity about their emotions, desires, and the forces that shape their lives. Self-reflection is a tool that allows one to examine thought patterns, understand triggers, and make conscious choices that align with personal values. By taking time to sit in stillness, whether through meditation or quiet contemplation, the mind learns to declutter itself from unnecessary worries and anxieties. The power of solitude cannot be underestimated when it comes to achieving inner peace. Solitude is not loneliness, rather, it is a sacred space where one can retreat to recharge and reconnect with their essence. It allows individuals to detach from societal pressures, letting go of the need to constantly engage with others in order to feel validated. Some of the most insightful moments in life come from time spent alone, away from distractions, where the mind is given room to process, reflect, and grow. Great thinkers, writers, and spiritual leaders throughout history have spoken about the necessity of solitude in gaining wisdom and understanding oneself more deeply. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of retreating into one's own mind as a way to cultivate resilience and maintain inner balance. Henry David Thoreau sought solitude in the woods of Walden to gain a deeper appreciation for the simplicity of life, demonstrating that stepping away from societal expectations can lead to profound revelations. Mindfulness strengthens inner peace by grounding the mind in the present. Through conscious awareness, whether by breathing deeply, savoring nature, or immersing in creativity, one detaches from past burdens and future anxieties, embracing tranquility in the now. Consider a simple moment like watching a sunrise. Instead of rushing through the morning or immediately reaching for a phone, one can take a deep breath, feel the warmth of the sunlight and appreciate the beauty of the world as it awakens. This kind of awareness fosters a sense of gratitude and calm, shifting the mind away from unnecessary stress. Distractions from social media to constant notifications clutter the mind and block deep introspection. Many unknowingly let external noise control their thoughts, preventing clarity and peace. Reducing these distractions is essential for reconnecting with oneself. Taking intentional breaks from technology, limiting social interactions that drain energy, and establishing personal rituals that promote stillness can make a significant difference. Whether it is a daily walk in nature, journaling thoughts and feelings, or simply sitting in silence for a few minutes each day, these small but meaningful actions contribute to a greater sense of inner tranquility. As mindfulness strengthens our ability to be present, it also reveals what disrupts our peace, unhealthy attachments, and overwhelming obligations. Protecting one's energy requires setting firm boundaries, learning to say no without guilt, and prioritizing self-care. Many people struggle with the fear of disappointing others, leading them to overcommit and neglect their own needs. However, true peace can only be achieved when one prioritizes self-care and acknowledges that constantly catering to external demands will only lead to exhaustion. It is not selfish to protect one's peace. It is necessary for long-term well-being. Setting clear emotional and mental boundaries creates a sanctuary where the mind and spirit can flourish without unnecessary stress. Finding inner peace also requires acceptance of life's unpredictability. The need for control often causes stress and frustration as people try to force circumstances to align with their expectations. However, life is fluid, and resistance to change only leads to unnecessary suffering. Accepting that uncertainty is a natural part of existence, allows one to flow with the rhythm of life instead of against it. The Buddhist concept of impermanence teaches that everything is constantly changing, and true peace comes from embracing this reality rather than fearing it. When one stops clinging to rigid expectations and instead trusts the process of life, a deeper sense of serenity emerges. Ultimately, inner peace is about creating a harmonious relationship with oneself. It is about recognizing that happiness is not found in external achievements or validation, but in the quiet understanding that everything one needs already exists within. The journey toward peace is not about escaping from life, but about engaging with it more fully, with a heart that is open, a mind that is clear, and a spirit that is free. By prioritizing moments of solitude, mindfulness, self-reflection, and acceptance, individuals cultivate a life that is rooted in calmness, resilience, and authenticity. The world may continue to be chaotic and demanding, but those who nurture their inner peace will always have a sanctuary within themselves. Mental clarity through mindfulness is an essential practice for achieving inner peace and gaining insight into one's thoughts and emotions. In the modern world, where distractions are endless and external noise constantly demands attention, the mind often becomes overwhelmed with information, worries, and unnecessary stress. When the mind is clouded, decision-making becomes difficult, emotions become unstable, and inner peace feels unattainable. However, through mindfulness and meditation, individuals can clear mental clutter, develop a deeper awareness of their inner world, and cultivate a sense of tranquility that transcends external circumstances. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment or distraction. It involves bringing attention to the now rather than being consumed by thoughts of the past or anxieties about the future. Imagine sitting by a calm lake, observing the ripples on the surface as they gently disappear. The water represents the mind, and the ripples symbolize thoughts and emotions. When the mind is constantly disturbed by distractions and stress, the water remains unsettled, making it difficult to see clearly. However, when one practices mindfulness, the ripples gradually fade and the mind becomes still, allowing clarity to emerge. Meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating mindfulness. By focusing on the breath, a mantra, or specific sensation, individuals train their minds to become more aware of the present moment. Studies have shown that regular meditation can reduce stress, improve concentration, and increase emotional resilience. Consider a person who begins each morning with 10 minutes of meditation, sitting in a quiet space and focusing on their breath. Over time, they notice that their thoughts no longer feel as overwhelming. Their reactions to stress become more measured, and they experience a greater sense of control over their emotions. This practice allows them to navigate daily challenges with a calm and composed mind. One of the key benefits of mindfulness is its ability to detach individuals from their thoughts. Many people assume that they are defined by the thoughts that pass through their minds, but mindfulness teaches that thoughts are merely passing events, not absolute truths. A person struggling with self-doubt may constantly think, "I am not good enough," leading to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety. Through mindfulness, they learn to observe this thought without attaching to it, recognizing that it is just a mental pattern, not a reflection of reality. By creating distance between themselves and their thoughts, they develop greater self-awareness and emotional stability. Mindfulness also enhances the ability to focus. In a world filled with distractions, from social media notifications to endless to-do lists, concentration has become a rare skill. Practicing mindfulness helps individuals train their attention, allowing them to engage deeply in tasks without being easily pulled away by external stimuli. A student preparing for an important exam may struggle with maintaining focus, constantly switching between studying and checking their phone. By incorporating mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing and single tasking, they train their brain to remain present, leading to more effective learning and retention of information. Another crucial aspect of mindfulness is its role in emotional regulation. Many people experience emotional turbulence, reacting impulsively to situations without fully understanding their feelings. Through mindfulness, individuals develop the ability to observe emotions as they arise rather than being controlled by them. A person who becomes angry during a disagreement may typically react with harsh words, escalating the conflict. However, with mindfulness, they recognize the physical sensations of anger, such as a rapid heartbeat or tense muscles, and take a moment to breathe before responding. This pause allows them to choose a more constructive reaction, fostering better relationships and inner peace. Mindfulness can also be integrated into everyday activities, transforming ordinary moments into opportunities for clarity and self-awareness. Walking mindfully, for example, involves paying attention to each step, feeling the ground beneath the feet, and observing the sensations of movement. Eating mindfully means savoring each bite, noticing flavors and textures rather than rushing through meals while distracted by screens. These simple practices train the brain to be present, reducing stress and enhancing the enjoyment of life's small pleasures. Beyond personal well-being, mindfulness fosters a deeper connection with others. When people practice mindful listening, they give their full attention to conversations without interrupting or thinking about their next response. This creates more meaningful interactions and strengthens relationships. Imagine a scenario where a friend is sharing their struggles, but instead of listening attentively, the listener is distracted by their own thoughts. The friend feels unheard, and the connection weakens. However, when the listener is fully present, making eye contact and acknowledging the emotions being expressed, the conversation becomes a space of understanding and support. Incorporating mindfulness into daily life does not require drastic changes. It simply involves making a conscious effort to be present. Setting aside a few minutes each day for meditation, engaging in deep breathing exercises during stressful moments, and practicing gratitude can have profound effects on mental clarity. Over time, these small habits accumulate, transforming the way individuals experience life. Instead of being overwhelmed by thoughts and emotions, they develop a sense of inner calm that remains steady even in the face of challenges. The journey to mental clarity is not about eliminating all thoughts or emotions, but about learning to navigate them with awareness and grace. Just as a clear sky emerges after a storm, the mind can achieve clarity when distractions, worries, and negativity are observed without attachment. Through mindfulness and meditation, individuals gain the ability to see reality as it is, rather than through the lens of fear or stress. They become more in tune with themselves, more resilient in the face of adversity, and more capable of embracing each moment with openness and presence. Ultimately, mental clarity through mindfulness is a practice of self-liberation. It allows individuals to break free from the constant mental noise that prevents them from fully experiencing life. It is a reminder that peace is not found in escaping from difficulties, but in meeting them with awareness and composure. By cultivating mindfulness, individuals embark on a transformative path toward greater understanding, emotional balance, and inner tranquility, reinforcing the foundation of the peace they have begun to cultivate within themselves. Letting go of external validation is a fundamental step toward true self-acceptance and inner peace. From an early age, people are conditioned to seek approval from others, whether it be from parents, teachers, peers, or society as a whole. Compliments, praise, and social recognition become sources of validation, shaping behaviors and decisions. However, the reliance on external approval often leads to an unstable sense of self-worth as it becomes dependent on opinions that fluctuate and cannot always be controlled. To cultivate genuine confidence and peace, individuals must shift their focus inward, recognizing their own value rather than waiting for it to be confirmed by others. The need for external validation stems from the human desire for belonging and acceptance. Social interactions and relationships are important aspects of life. But when a person's self-esteem is entirely dictated by external opinions, they become trapped in an endless cycle of seeking approval. Consider an artist who hesitates to share their work because they fear criticism. Their creativity, which should be a source of joy and expression, becomes constrained by the possibility of rejection. If they measure their talent solely by the number of likes or positive comments they receive, their passion is no longer for themselves, but for external recognition. This mindset not only limits personal growth, but also creates unnecessary stress and anxiety. True self-acceptance begins with the understanding that personal worth is not something to be granted by others. It is an inherent quality that exists regardless of external acknowledgement. Imagine a person who decides to dress in a way that genuinely reflects their personality rather than following the latest fashion trends. They may initially face judgment from others who do not share their style, but over time, they experience a sense of liberation. Instead of adjusting their appearance to fit expectations, they find confidence in authenticity. This example illustrates that letting go of external validation allows for greater self-expression and a stronger connection to one's true identity. One of the most significant challenges in overcoming the need for external validation is the fear of rejection. Many people hold themselves back from pursuing their dreams or voicing their opinions because they worry about how others will perceive them. A writer may hesitate to publish their thoughts because they fear negative feedback. A musician may avoid performing because they dread criticism. However, those who find fulfillment in their craft do so not because of applause, but because of their love for what they create. Consider great innovators and leaders throughout history. Many faced skepticism, yet they persisted because their purpose was not tied to approval, but to their own convictions. Letting go of external validation does not mean disregarding all feedback or rejecting the importance of meaningful connections. Constructive criticism can be valuable for growth, and appreciation from loved ones can be affirming. However, the key distinction lies in whether external opinions dictate self-worth. A person who builds their identity around approval is vulnerable to disappointment, as approval is never constant. One day they may receive praise, the next they may face indifference or criticism. If their self-esteem is anchored in such an unstable foundation, they will constantly be at the mercy of other people's shifting perceptions. Social media has intensified the need for validation, creating a culture where likes, comments, and shares are often seen as indicators of worth. People curate their lives to fit an idealized version that garners the most approval, filtering their experiences to align with what is deemed acceptable or impressive. However, this artificial pursuit of validation often leads to feelings of inadequacy and comparison. A person who constantly checks their phone to see how many likes their post has received is allowing an algorithm to determine their mood and self-perception. By stepping away from this reliance, they regain control over their own sense of fulfillment. Self-acceptance begins with an internal shift, valuing oneself beyond external approval. Imagine an artist who hesitates to share their work, fearing criticism. When they create for the joy of expression rather than validation, they break free from self-doubt and embrace their true worth. This involves recognizing personal achievements, no matter how small, and celebrating progress without needing outside acknowledgement. A person who has worked hard to develop a skill should take pride in their dedication, regardless of whether anyone else notices. A student who studies diligently and improves their understanding of a subject should feel accomplished, even if their success is not publicly recognized. By focusing on intrinsic satisfaction rather than external validation, people develop a stronger and more resilient sense of self-worth. Practicing self-acceptance also involves embracing imperfections. Many individuals strive for an unrealistic standard of perfection, believing that they must be flawless to be worthy of respect or love. This belief fosters a cycle of self-doubt and disappointment. However, true confidence comes from acknowledging flaws without letting them define self-worth. An athlete who misses a shot does not become a failure. Just as an artist who receives a bad review does not lose their talent. Every person experiences setbacks, but those who accept themselves as they are, rather than as they are perceived, develop an unshakable inner peace. Another powerful aspect of letting go of external validation is the ability to make decisions based on personal values rather than social expectations. Many people follow paths dictated by what is considered acceptable rather than what truly fulfills them. A person may pursue a career solely because it is prestigious, ignoring their true passions. A student may choose a field of study because it pleases their family, despite feeling disconnected from it. When decisions are made out of a need for approval, they often lead to dissatisfaction. However, when choices align with personal values and desires, they create a sense of fulfillment that external validation could never provide. A practical way to break free from the cycle of seeking approval is to engage in activities without sharing them for validation. Writing in a journal, creating art without posting it online, or learning a new skill purely for enjoyment allows individuals to reconnect with their intrinsic motivation. By doing things for the sake of personal fulfillment rather than external praise, they build confidence that is independent of outside recognition. This practice strengthens the understanding that self-worth is not something that needs to be constantly proven to others. Letting go of external validation is ultimately about reclaiming personal power. When people stop defining themselves by how they are perceived, they gain a sense of freedom. They are no longer controlled by the fear of judgment, nor do they feel the need to conform to expectations that do not align with their authentic selves. This liberation leads to deeper self-awareness, stronger decision-making, and a more fulfilling life. A person who embraces their individuality, who does not seek permission to be themselves, radiates a confidence that is unshaken by external opinions. The journey towards self-acceptance is not about isolation or rejecting all external influence. It is about achieving a balance where approval is appreciated but not required. It is about knowing that one's worth is not dependent on applause, but on an inner conviction that they are enough just as they are. Through this realization, people cultivate a sense of peace that no amount of external validation can provide, reinforcing the foundation of inner tranquility and self-confidence that allows them to navigate the world with assurance and authenticity. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts of self-liberation, allowing individuals to release the burdens of past hurts and free themselves from the emotional weight that hinders inner peace. Holding on to resentment, anger, or grief often creates an invisible prison where one remains trapped in the pain of the past. Many believe that forgiveness is about excusing the wrongs committed against them or letting others avoid accountability. But in reality, forgiveness is a gift one gives to themselves. It is not about forgetting, but about choosing to move forward unshackled by the negativity that can consume the heart and mind. Imagine a person who has carried resentment for years due to a betrayal by a close friend. Each time they recall the event, emotions of anger, disappointment, and sadness resurface, influencing their interactions, their ability to trust, and their general outlook on relationships. The mere thought of that betrayal stirs up bitterness, preventing them from embracing new experiences with an open heart. They believe that by holding on to the pain, they are protecting themselves from being hurt again. However, the reality is that the only person suffering from this grudge is themselves. The person who wronged them may have moved on, completely unaware of the lingering wounds they left behind. This illustrates the harsh truth about resentment. It does not punish the one who caused harm, but rather burdens the one who carries it. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as an act of weakness, yet it requires immense strength to let go of pain, especially when the wounds are deep. Consider a woman who suffered emotional abuse in a past relationship. For years, she held on to the anger, replaying memories and resenting the person who caused her so much pain. The bitterness became part of her identity, shaping how she viewed love and trust. Eventually, she realized that by refusing to forgive, she was allowing the past to define her present. Through self-reflection, she chose to release the pain, not because the person deserved forgiveness, but because she deserved peace. Her act of forgiveness was not for the benefit of the one who hurt her, but for her own liberation. Forgiveness also plays a crucial role in self-compassion. Many people carry deep regrets over past decisions or mistakes, punishing themselves for choices they cannot change. A man who made a critical error in his career may spend years replaying the moment in his mind, wishing he had acted differently. The self-blame keeps him stuck, unable to fully embrace new opportunities. However, just as one forgives others, it is equally important to forgive oneself. Self-forgiveness is an act of healing, allowing a person to learn from the past without remaining chained to it. By choosing to forgive himself, the man can move forward, using his past mistake as a lesson rather than a lifelong burden. Forgiveness is not always immediate, nor is it a one-time event. It is a process that unfolds over time, requiring conscious effort. Some days the pain resurfaces and old wounds feel fresh again. But each time forgiveness is reaffirmed, it weakens the grip of resentment. Just as physical wounds take time to heal, emotional wounds require patience and care. This process does not mean ignoring the pain or pretending it never happened. It means acknowledging the hurt while choosing to no longer let it dictate one's emotions and actions. There is a powerful connection between forgiveness and freedom. When a person holds on to resentment, they remain emotionally tied to the past, reliving the pain over and over again. This cycle prevents them from fully experiencing the present. However, when they choose to forgive, they reclaim control over their emotional well-being. They stop allowing the past to steal their joy and dictate their future. A person who forgives does not erase the past, but instead breaks the chains that keep them bound to it. Forgiveness also strengthens relationships, allowing for deeper connections and emotional healing. No human relationship is perfect. Misunderstandings, disagreements, and even betrayals are inevitable. A parent who disappointed their child, a friend who made a hurtful remark, a partner who failed to meet expectations. All of these situations create opportunities for either division or growth. When a person chooses to forgive, they create space for reconciliation and understanding. Forgiveness fosters empathy, helping individuals see beyond the actions to the motivations, struggles, and humanity of those who have wronged them. Spiritual and philosophical teachings across cultures emphasize the power of forgiveness as a means to attain peace. In Buddhism, forgiveness is seen as essential to releasing suffering and achieving enlightenment. In Christianity, it is a fundamental principle that encourages individuals to let go of grievances as a reflection of divine grace. In psychological studies, forgiveness has been linked to lower stress levels, improved mental health, and greater overall well-being. Scientific evidence supports the idea that forgiveness is not just an emotional concept, but a transformative practice that enhances one's quality of life. A practical way to embrace forgiveness is through mindful reflection and intentional practice. Writing down feelings in a journal can help process emotions and clarify the reasons behind lingering resentment. Meditation focused on compassion can shift perspective, allowing one to see the situation from a place of understanding rather than anger. Some find that expressing forgiveness directly, whether in person through a letter or even silently in their hearts, can bring closure. Others use visualization techniques, imagining themselves physically releasing their resentment, watching it dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Forgiveness is not the same as allowing harmful people to remain in one's life. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to forgive, but set firm boundaries to prevent further pain. A person can choose to forgive a toxic friend without continuing the relationship. They can release the emotional weight while maintaining their self-respect and well-being. True forgiveness does not mean enduring continued mistreatment. Rather, it means letting go of the emotional control that past hurts have over one's life. As forgiveness unfolds, a deep sense of peace takes root. The person who once felt consumed by resentment begins to feel lighter. The energy that was once spent reliving pain is redirected toward growth, love, and new opportunities. Forgiveness allows for emotional clarity, where past wounds no longer cloud judgment or obscure the beauty of the present moment. The heart that once carried bitterness becomes open to joy, and the mind that once replayed past injustices now focuses on creating a future filled with purpose. The journey toward forgiveness is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It is an act of self-liberation, of choosing to prioritize one's peace over one's pain. It is about understanding that holding on to resentment does not change the past, but it does shape the future. By embracing forgiveness, individuals step into a life that is no longer defined by past wounds, but by newfound freedom, resilience, and inner strength. In the pursuit of inner peace and fulfillment, the relationships one cultivates play a crucial role. The energy of those around us deeply influences our emotional well-being, making it essential to surround ourselves with supportive, positive individuals. Prioritizing positive relationships means being intentional about who we allow into our lives, ensuring they align with our values and aspirations. Imagine someone who constantly feels drained after interacting with a particular group. Negative energy and discouragement weigh them down, leaving them emotionally exhausted. In contrast, when surrounded by those who uplift and support them, they gain motivation, confidence, and resilience. This highlights the powerful impact relationships have on personal growth and happiness. Self-awareness is key to prioritizing positive connections. Understanding one's values allows for discernment in choosing relationships that foster encouragement rather than negativity. A student with ambitious goals, for example, will flourish in an environment that nurtures perseverance and growth, but may struggle in one filled with doubt and criticism. Communication is fundamental to healthy relationships. A strong connection is built on honesty, mutual understanding, and the freedom to express oneself without fear of judgment. The difference between a friend who listens, provides thoughtful advice, and genuinely cares versus one who dismisses concerns is clear. Relationships that encourage open, meaningful dialogue are those worth prioritizing. Surrounding oneself with positive people cultivates a growth mindset. A supportive circle fosters confidence, inspiring individuals to overcome setbacks and take bold steps toward their goals. Those influenced by negativity may hesitate, questioning their abilities, whereas those supported by encouragement and constructive guidance are more likely to push beyond limitations. Emotional resilience is reinforced by positive relationships. Life's challenges become more manageable when there is a network of support. Whether facing grief, failure, or personal struggles, knowing there are people who provide comfort and reassurance strengthens one's ability to navigate adversity. Supportive relationships act as emotional anchors, fostering stability in difficult times. Setting healthy boundaries is essential. While human connections are vital, not all relationships contribute to well-being. Distancing from toxicity is an act of self-care, not selfishness. A person constantly drained by manipulative or overly critical individuals must assess whether those relationships are worth maintaining. Prioritizing positivity does not mean accumulating acquaintances, but rather cultivating meaningful, uplifting connections. Gratitude strengthens relationships. Expressing appreciation for those who offer support and kindness deepens emotional bonds. A simple acknowledgement of someone's presence and encouragement fosters mutual respect and warmth. Just as one seeks positive relationships, it is equally important to be a positive force in the lives of others. Social environments shape perspectives and attitudes. People subconsciously adopt the mindsets and behaviors of those they interact with most. If surrounded by negativity, maintaining optimism becomes difficult. Conversely, engaging with those who exude resilience and purpose reinforces these qualities within oneself. Choosing a social circle wisely is crucial for long-term personal growth. Letting go of relationships that no longer serve well-being is a necessary yet difficult step. Some connections, once meaningful, may evolve into sources of emotional distress. Recognizing when a relationship has reached its course is not a failure, but a sign of growth. Removing toxic influences creates space for supportive and uplifting connections. Choosing to surround oneself with loving, supportive people is a conscious act of self-care. It requires regular evaluation and the courage to seek environments that foster growth rather than hinder it. Intentional relationships become sources of strength, guiding individuals through life's uncertainties with confidence and resilience. At its core, prioritizing positive relationships is about valuing emotional well-being. Relationships should not be based on fear of loneliness or social expectations, but on genuine connection, mutual respect, and shared aspirations. By choosing wisely, life is enriched with authenticity, harmony, and lasting joy. Gratitude and mindfulness are transformative practices that cultivate a deep appreciation for life's smallest blessings. In a world that constantly pushes people to seek more success, more possessions, more validation, it is easy to overlook the abundance that already exists. Gratitude is not merely about recognizing major achievements, but about finding joy in the ordinary, the moments that often go unnoticed. A warm cup of tea on a cold morning, the sound of birds at sunrise, a conversation that brings laughter, these simple experiences hold the power to create a sense of fulfillment. When one learns to focus on these seemingly minor blessings, life begins to feel richer, more meaningful, and filled with a quiet sense of contentment. Mindfulness enhances this perspective by bringing full awareness to the present moment. Too often, thoughts are consumed by the past or the future, replaying regrets or worrying about uncertainties. Mindfulness calls for a shift in attention, an intentional decision to be fully engaged with what is happening right now. Imagine a person walking through a park, lost in thoughts of upcoming deadlines and unresolved conflicts. Their mind is elsewhere, disconnected from their surroundings. However, if they take a moment to breathe deeply, to notice the colors of the leaves, the feel of the ground beneath their feet, the rhythm of their steps, they experience a sense of calm. That simple act of presence transforms an ordinary walk into a grounding and peaceful experience. This shift in perspective allows for a greater appreciation of life as it unfolds. Simplifying life is a natural extension of gratitude and mindfulness. When one reduces material and emotional clutter, they create space for clarity, peace, and deeper appreciation. Society often equates happiness with accumulation, convincing people that acquiring more leads to fulfillment. Yet, true peace is found in letting go of what is unnecessary, in recognizing that excess does not equate to contentment. A home filled with unused belongings creates visual and mental chaos, just as a mind filled with unresolved emotions creates internal turmoil. Simplification is not about deprivation, but about choosing quality over quantity, presence over distraction, and meaning over excess. Imagine a person who spends years collecting possessions, believing that each new item will bring them lasting happiness. Over time, they realize that their belongings demand maintenance, space, and attention, leaving them feeling burdened rather than fulfilled. In contrast, another individual decides to embrace minimalism, keeping only what truly adds value to their life. Their home becomes a place of tranquility, free from the stress of excess. This simplicity extends beyond physical belongings to emotional well-being. Letting go of toxic relationships, unnecessary commitments, and negative thought patterns clears the mind, allowing for deeper focus on what truly matters. Adapting to change is an essential practice in achieving peace. Life is in constant motion, and resistance to change only creates unnecessary suffering. Many hold on to the illusion of control, believing that stability is found in certainty. However, true stability comes from the ability to flow with life's transitions rather than resist them. The person who embraces change sees opportunity in uncertainty rather than fear. They understand that every ending creates space for a new beginning. Every loss holds a lesson, and Every shift in direction is an invitation for growth. Consider someone who faces an unexpected career shift. Initially, they experience fear, questioning their ability to navigate the unknown. However, as they choose to accept the situation rather than resist it, they discover new possibilities that would not have emerged otherwise. Perhaps they develop a passion for a different field, meet people who inspire them, or cultivate skills they would not have explored. The same applies to personal relationships, where change often brings an evolution of understanding. Friendships shift, roles within families transform, and personal identities evolve. The person who clings tightly to how things once were will struggle, while the one who accepts change with an open heart will find peace in the process. Gratitude, mindfulness, simplicity, and adaptability are interconnected, each reinforcing the other. When one practices gratitude, they become more mindful of life's beauty. When one simplifies, they remove distractions that cloud appreciation. When one embraces change, they let go of expectations that prevent them from fully experiencing the present. Together, these principles create a foundation for lasting inner peace, a way of living that is not dictated by external circumstances, but by an internal state of clarity and acceptance. Life will always bring challenges, uncertainty, and unexpected shifts, but those who cultivate these practices will navigate them with grace, finding fulfillment, not in control, but in trust. Inner peace is not a destination, but a lifelong journey shaped by conscious choices and daily practices. It is cultivated through self-awareness, emotional balance, and a commitment to nurturing a harmonious relationship with oneself. The pursuit of inner peace is not about eliminating challenges or avoiding discomfort, but about developing the resilience to navigate life's uncertainties with clarity and acceptance. True fulfillment comes not from external validation, but from an inner state of calm, where one is no longer controlled by chaos, negativity, or fear. By setting healthy boundaries, individuals protect their emotional well-being, allowing space for self-growth and authentic relationships. Letting go of toxic influences, whether in the form of people, habits, or thought patterns, creates an environment where peace can flourish. Prioritizing positive connections fosters a sense of belonging and security, reinforcing emotional stability even in difficult times. Practicing gratitude shifts the focus from what is lacking to what is abundant, allowing for a deeper appreciation of life's simple joys. Mindfulness keeps one grounded in the present, preventing unnecessary anxiety about the past or future. These small, intentional practices collectively shape a life that is centered, purposeful, and fulfilling. Inner peace is not given, nor is it found, it is built, moment by moment. It is the quiet strength that remains when the world is loud, the stillness that prevails in chaos. No matter how unpredictable life becomes, those who cultivate peace within themselves will always have a sanctuary, one that no storm can shake, no darkness can dim.